Hi, welcome back. I wanted to do this video today to just sort of chat about the last year and talk about the year ahead, because we've got some really exciting things coming up on the horizon and I just want to have a good chat about them. Excuse me, I am half dressed. I'm in my gym kit from earlier. I will go and have a shower, but I need to get this vlog done before I took all my makeup off, because I'm not vlogging without makeup on. That is just one of those non-negotiables. Let me just move you back a bit. There we go. I'm not quite so on the screen. So last year was incredibly busy for us. We traveled to 10 or 11 different countries in the space of the 12 months. If we start in January, Oman, Uzbekistan, Bulgaria, Georgia, England, Sri Lanka, then we did South Korea, Mongolia, and then just our last holiday was Thailand, Singapore and Vietnam. Here are some of the things that we brought back from our trip to Southeast Asia. We brought back all these lanterns. Some of them were bought in Hoi An, one of them was bought in Hanoi, and the other things that we brought back were, we nicked a couple of things from some bars in Bangkok, and we also bought a tea towel from Raffles Hotel in Singapore, where we had a Singapore sling cocktail. So that's what we've been doing. We've been traveling every few weeks. We travel to a different country depending on where husband's holidays fall, because obviously he's a teacher, so we travel every half term. Every half term we travel. So that was the plan for this year, and we have hit our target of every half term we've travelled to a different country. Ticked off some of the ones that we know we're never going to really do again or ever get the chance to see again. Southeast Asia particularly, because when we move back to England, our priority is going to be the house, decorating, maybe getting a pet. We're not going to be travelling at the rate, we can't afford to travel. Once we have our mortgage on the next house, we're just not going to be able to travel. So that's why we're doing so much now in the 2 years that we're in Dubai, because we've already cut out half of the journey essentially, and that's half the price of the flight is the distance. So last year was interesting. We did a lot of travel. I had some medical issues that needed looking into. It's first started off with me seeing a gastroenterologist and having a gastroscopy and a colonoscopy. The gastroscopy is where they shove a camera down your throat and into your stomach and your upper stomach area. And then I had a colonoscopy, which is where they shove a tube up your bum and look at your intestines. I had those done at the same time, thankfully, because it was all done under sedation. So I wasn't knocked out for it. I have a slight amount of ulceration in my stomach. So I was on some tablets for a little while, and that seems to have calmed down. I've stopped eating gluten again. That's calmed it down as well. Thankfully not celiac. That's what it showed, was that I wasn't celiac. So thankfully I can eat gluten if I choose to. If I want to upset my stomach and just eat the donut anyway, I can. And I do sometimes. The other health issue I had was, I've had chronic back pain since I was a child at school. I went to see an orthopedic consultant who did an x-ray on my back, and unfortunately we didn't find anything wrong with my back, but incidentally I was sterilised about 6 years ago. I have clips on my ovaries to stop the egg from getting through the fallopian tubes. One of those metal clips was found floating in my chest cavity. It's around here where my gallbladder is / liver. That was found on the x-ray. It was quite funny at the time, but also quite devastatingly scary, because it also meant that I could have been fertile and could have been in for a bit of a ride with that. But thankfully they booked me in for a hysterosalpingogram, which is where they inject dye into your cervix, up through your cervix, into your reproductive system. And it's supposed to show, go all the way around your fallopian tubes and all that. But it just went up and came back out again, which meant that I was sterile. I have no workable tubes in my reproductive system, which is exactly what I wanted. So there was a bit of panic. There were a couple of weeks of panic of, oh my God, I could be with child. But thankfully that was never a possibility. The tests came back and I was sterile. So that kind of pushed the back pain to the rear, excuse the pun. And quite rightly, my fertility issues were forefront. Now that's all sorted. I've still got the back pain. I actually threw something out in my back about exactly a week before we flew on our Southeast Asia trip. Tried to book in for physio, but they were all fully booked. So I had to go to Southeast Asia with, I imagine might have been a herniated disc, slip disc, something like that. It was incredibly painful. I couldn't bend forward, but because I wasn't in the gym for those 3 weeks, it has healed itself and I'm now back to a baseline level of normal for me. I was in a car accident in 2006 and we think I broke my sacroiliac joint during the impact, and I've had coccydynia ever since and lower back pain ever since, but I will have any treatment for it. So health issues aside, the year has been fantastic, busy. 11 different countries, and then the focus was just on getting in the gym and building as much muscle as I could. But I did lose some of my volume, especially from my glutes, while we were in Southeast Asia for those 3 weeks, but I don't care really in the grand scheme of things. So the plan for this year, we literally got back on January the 1st. We were flying for New Year's, and the plan for this year, we're only going to do 2 more countries this year. We're going to the Maldives next month, and that is going to be an incredible, relaxing holiday. I've told husband, I mean, he literally can't do anything except read, sit on the beach, swim, snorkel with the turtles, that kind of stuff. This is going to be a once in a lifetime trip. And in my mind, and I've said to husband, that this is going to be a do-over for me for when we went to Cambodia 2019. It was just before we got back from Jordan 2020, just before COVID hit. So we were in Cambodia over the Christmas period for our honeymoon in 2019. And I came down with a very, very serious bout of food poisoning just before we left for Koh Rong Island, which is a paradise island off the coast of Cambodia. Did not enjoy that holiday one little bit. I was spent most of it in the bathroom. So the Maldives this year is my do-over. I'm gonna enjoy every single cocktail. I've looked at YouTube and seen some really fantastic videos of the resort that we're going to. It has a decent gym. It's not a shonky lat pull down. It is a decent gym. So I will be on a mini bulk. And by that, I mean a dirty bulk, because I'm gonna be eating desserts. I'm gonna be eating pretty much what I fancy. I will be taking account of protein. That will always be my priority. But I'm going to enjoy the dessert buffet. And it is a buffet. I've seen the videos of the restaurants in this island resort and my God. I'm on a cut currently. So I'm going to just enjoy myself and I'm going to work out every day that we're there. So that's the Maldives in February next month. Straddling the March-April holiday, we have 2 weeks and we're spending those in Japan. We're doing Tokyo and Osaka, and we're also going out for like day trips to other places, Nara and somewhere else. Husband's done all the itinerary because he does all the itinerary for everywhere. He's amazing. I can't book anything. Dates, me and dates, not a clue. So that's what we're doing in March, April. And then it's just going to be counting down time for when I return home on June 18th or 17th. I can't remember exactly the dates. See, I'm useless with dates. I fly home on my own for the first time. I've never flown alone ever in my life. That's going to be testing, very, very testing for me. And I fly home with my suitcase with all my belongings, never to return to Dubai, because I'm done. I'm so done. I can't wait to go home and never come back. I will be home 3 weeks before husband. He's going to stay here, finish the academic year, and then fly home the day after he finishes. And I will be living with my parents. Husband's going to come and live with us as well when he's back. In the 3 weeks that he's here and I'm there, I'm going to be redecorating the house. Our tenant leaves the first week of June. So by the time I get back, the house will be empty and it'll be ready to repaint, ready to go on the market, because we are selling up our house and we're going to be looking for a new one. So that's the plan for us in terms of long-term plan, will be to buy a house closer to my parents, but the housing market is so volatile that we don't know what we're going to get for our money, so we don't know where we're going to be living. We do want either an Edwardian or a Victorian terrace, semi-detached, kind of whatever we can afford. It's got to have some original features. That's my only deal breaker, is it has to have some original features. So that's the plan for the summer. Husband's already interviewed for a summer job, and then he will be hopefully going back to the school that he was working at before we left Dubai. They want him back, so he will be interviewing for that hopefully soon, so that he goes straight from his summer job working at a summer school, and then come September he goes straight into the next academic year without a gap. But in terms of employment for me, that's where things are really going to change. Is I'm not going to be a housewife anymore. I am going to be self-employed. I've been a foot model on Instagram for about 10 years. I've made the decision to open an OnlyFans site where people can pay a subscription for custom stuff. I will be opening up my books sometime around end of June, beginning of July, and that will be me being self-employed then. I will be filling in tax returns, because it all goes through the books on OnlyFans. They take a commission, and it's all done properly through that. And then the other idea is to, alongside that, I will be hopefully signing up to some background acting agencies. I've been a member of a couple over the years, and I was a model for Ugly Models back in London about 10 years ago. So I'm hoping if they still like my look, they will take me back on their books. And then I would be auditioning for magazine articles, TV adverts, game show contestant type things. Whatever they want to throw at me, I will audition and go for. And then the other option is also to sign up for the background work and actually be a background extra, like people like Universal Extras and Mad Dog Casting, all that kind of stuff, and just try and get as much work as I can, really. My mum retired recently, and she has given me a little bit of a fund for a car, bless her. So I will be on the road. That is the make or break for me, was the car issue. It's always been a problem of chicken and egg, of whether to get the jobs I want, I would need a car, but to afford to run the car, I would need the job. So it's always been a little bit of a problem, because I've never had the money to buy the car up front. So now I've got that. It's not going to be a fancy car, it's not going to be a new car, it's going to be a very old, cronky, is that even a word? Crusty automatic, because I can only drive automatic. So that is the plan for the next 12 months. And I'm really, really excited. I'm excited to get home and just be very artistic and creative again with my wardrobe. I'm missing that so much. I'm missing my vintage wardrobe, my 50s, my 60s and 70s hippie vibes, missing my corporate goth, my dark academia. All that stuff is sitting there waiting for me to go home to. And in 5 months and 5 days, it will all be there for me, and I will be happy to receive it. I'm also really excited to get back into my spirituality in terms of the pagan views that I hold, forest bathing, forest walks, hugging trees. I do love a good hug of a tree, and just generally being back in my English countryside era again, and burning candles, burning incense, doing ritual, the stuff that I've had to put on the back burner here because witchcraft is illegal here. Just let my freak flag fly again. I'm really excited to just be the weirdo again. So got plenty to look forward to, plenty coming up. Yeah, I'm glad that you're here for the ride, and it's going to be a hell of a ride for the next 12 months. So I also forgot to add, actually, before I sign off, that I will be joining a gym as soon as I get home. Thankfully there is a gym, a shonky community gym down the road from my parents' house, so I will be hopefully able to walk there 4 times a week while I live with my parents. That I really don't want that to fall by the wayside. That's my one. If I have any resolutions, and I don't believe in them, if I have any resolutions for the year, it is that I will continue to build muscle. I want to be a muscle mommy. I do. I want to keep that up. I want it bigger and bigger. So that's my plan for the year ahead, is to do all that and build muscle at the same time. So I will leave you with that thought, and I will see you in the next one. So bye.